we practice the presence of Jesus. This is language that other people have used in church history, like a guy named Brother Lawrence, or a guy from this book named Frank Laubach, who wrote The Letters of a Modern Mystic. And there have been many others who have practiced the presence of Jesus. What does that actually mean? Well, here's what Dallas Willard says. He writes about caring for our souls and making sure that we walk in step with Jesus, who is with us. He says, this is the fundamental secret for caring for our souls. What is? The practice of the presence of Jesus. Our part, thus, in practicing the presence of God is directing and redirecting our minds constantly to Him. So how do we get from I know that Jesus is with us, Emmanuel, to I experience the joy and the peace and the comfort and the strength and the presence of Jesus in my life in an abiding personal way? How do we get there? We practice the presence of Jesus. Dallas Willard says, try it for a day. Pick a day of the week. It could be Monday at the beginning of the week. It could be Wednesday because it's hump day. It could be Sunday because you're already going to church anyway, and Jesus supposedly shows up to church where 2 or 3 gather together. Doesn't matter. Pick a day of the week and say, this is the day I'm going to practice the presence of Jesus. So your first task is, I challenge you this week to pick a day to practice the presence of Jesus. And he says the key to this is redirecting your mind. He is with us. Redirecting your mind over and over and over to the fact that He is with us and He's good. He is with us and He's kind. He is good, patient. He is with us. Redirecting your mind. He also says this, which I find really helpful, because you hear someone like Dallas Willard or Brother Lawrence who have dedicated their life to this, and you think, these people they're the experts. He says, be gracious to yourself. You might pick a day to practice the presence of Jesus. You might wake up in the morning with the King of Kings song in your head because you sang it yesterday and you're ready to go. You might read the Bible in the morning and you're like, yeah, Jesus is on my mind. You might get to lunchtime and be like, whoa, 4 hours just passed and I haven't thought about Jesus at all. That happens to me on a regular basis. It probably happens to you too. And so he says, be gracious. Just at that point, redirect your mind. He's with us. He's with us. He's with us. Now, Dallas Willard, I think, is actually maybe, he's passed away. Maybe I can say this. He's kind of a wimp on this. Dedicate a day to this? No, I'm going to actually go with Frank Laubach. He says try to dedicate 1 second to every minute of thinking about Jesus. He says you can do this in lots of different ways. You might just sing a song. We had a class in there, and Debbie Frank was talking about joy and the importance of joy in the Christian faith. We should be joyful people. We stand on this side of the resurrection, and we should be more joyful than anyone else. And she said as she was preparing for that, and there were 400 plus verses in the Bible that talk about joy, she said she was singing all week. And Terry was like, I was happy and I was joyful that my wife was singing all week. And I'm pretty sure he meant it too. She had a song in her heart. We broke out in song like 3 times there. We sing songs together when we worship. Some of you are more connected to song than others, but song can help you redirect your mind because Christ is with us. And song powerfully connects with our souls. So maybe it's a favorite Christmas song or a favorite worship song. Or maybe just sing this week, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Oh, that was pathetic. That's all right. I'm a bad singer, so I set you up poorly. One of the things that you can do to practice the presence of Jesus, I do this every Sunday. Leave an open chair. I view the front row as where Jesus sits, and maybe you're all being gracious to Jesus and the porters. The front row. Okay, so one of the things that these authors suggest is when you're driving in your car, and most of us don't carpool anymore, you're driving solo. You got that seat over there. Jesus is your co-pilot. I know that sounds like a bumper sticker, because it is. He's not your co-pilot, but he's with you. He's with you. When you sit down at the table, maybe having an extra seat at the table. For some of you, that would feel really cheesy. For some of you, that would be real natural. For some of you, you are single, you are a widow or a widower, or your kids have fled the house, and it feels less full around the table. So invite Jesus to the table with you. because he's with you. Sometimes a picture, sometimes a song. In fact, not just a picture of a chair, but actually a picture. You know, other forms of Christian faith have used icons in the past. They'll use an icon. It's a picture of Jesus. Some people like the white Jesus, the white Anglo blue-eyed blue hair. Some like the Jesus who's holding a little lamb. Some like the Greek versions of Jesus or the Greco-Roman versions of Jesus. Some people carry a rock in their pocket with a Bible verse on it. And they just rub their finger on that all day long. And every time they put their hand in their pocket and they touch that rock, it reminds them, God is with us. Now, that's not for everybody. But maybe a chair, maybe a picture, maybe a rock, maybe a song. The point is you're redirecting your mind. And what this guy says, Frank Laubach, is don't just make a day of it. Play a game with it. He calls this the hour, the game of minutes. And he suggests in his book that we should try to take 1 second of every minute to try to redirect our minds to God. Just remembering that he's with us. 1 hour, one second of every minute, he's with us. Frank Laubach says this, we make Jesus our inseparable chum. We try to call him to mind at least 1 second of each minute. We do not need to forget other things nor stop our work, but we invite him to share everything we do or say or think.